again to CITAM Church Online. Today we are focusing on part 3 of The Girl from Kyondoni. I am telling you guys, if you have missed the first video and the second video, please go ahead and check them out. The Girl from Kyondoni on CITAM Church Online social media platforms. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Anchor for those of you who love listening to podcasts. I have been on set with my friend Ruth, and today we'll be looking a little bit more about, we're talking about loss and grief because it's something that she has gone through. Today we'll be dealing and just looking at how is it for her, like as a woman in the marketplace, not just in the marketplace but in the manufacturing area or sector in the economy of Kenya. So karibu once again, Ruth.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you again here on set. When we were, just to pick it up from our previous video, we were talking about how you now eventually began Cooler Waters and how you merged that together with the granola business. And this, when we were just chatting and getting our makeup done, you were explaining to me something about the granola business, what inspired you to start this granola business. Please just pick it up from there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much and everything. So this was inspired by just also my first business, which is in water, the Cooler Waters, where we do the manufacturing, distribution, treatment of purified drinking water. So I've been doing that all through.
Yeah.
So as I was continuing to do that, people started now, that was now during COVID time, people started asking me, apart from water, because water is also a healthy something to meet your health need. People started asking me, do you have like masks? Do you have sanitizers? Do you have smoothies? People wanted like I bulk up the product, and then I noticed, oh wow, this is a market need that I had never considered to be there, especially for our events, because we're still going to source for another person to give us, juices. We're still sourcing another person to give us the sanitizers. So they're like, why can't you just be, come all at once and we give you everything and everything. But then apart from just noticing there was that like gap where we just had only one commodity, it was also born out of my own health journey. And also because for me, I also love baking. So I'm always exploring also on like just new recipes to try new stuff. It's one of my hobbies and everything. But I would also, let me also beginning in the long shot as well. So I think that was in 2021. I also started struggling with the iron deficiency, which is actually anemia. So that means I don't have enough iron. At the same time, I also had fibroids, and so fibroids is what was actually causing me to be anemic, because that time I was actually on very like heavy menses that would actually cause me to have like low iron and everything. And sometimes I would get checked by the doctor, and he was like really concerned that my iron levels were quite low and everything. And so for me, I was actually, when I was researching these recipes, actually researching on recipes that actually build my energy, build my immune system, but also just increase my iron like intake and everything, because I'd been taking the normal like liver, I'd been taking just spinach, skuma wiki, just the normal, but then I just felt like there was something just extra and everything. So when I came actually across like granola, that was just my research and everything, then I noticed it's actually just rolled oats that are mixed with pumpkin seeds, with chia seeds, sunflower seeds, and it's something that is so nutritious, so sweet, yet the health benefits, like it's rich in fiber, rich in omega-3, gives me a lot of muscle strength and all that. Sometimes when you have low iron, you wake up and you're feeling a bit sluggish, so you want and a bit tired, a bit dizzy, so you want something that will just give you a lot of energy. And you'll not struggle to consume it. And also to baking granola only takes like 30 minutes. So just like, wow, this is something like that is so incredible. So I actually just, I decided to actually just start trying out. So the first time I was actually doing it for myself and for my family consumption. Then in the meanwhile, because there was this business course, I also like applying for opportunities. So I applied for this business coach. Then I met a business coach. So I met with my business coach, who was actually my destiny connector, and she really like spoke to that thing that I had not seen before, that I could monetize this hobby or this gift that I had. And she's the one who like helped me, she's the one who helped me discover the gift. And also, so she was like, you're very good in baking, you like fitness, you're struggling with iron and everything. Why don't you now like monetize like what your current offering? Yes.
And that's how you ended up now monetizing, which reminds me
granola.
The granola, which reminds me of the conversation we were having last week about placing value on your worth. Let's talk about that as you as an entrepreneur. How has that been like for you, and what are some of the challenges that you have experienced being a woman in this space that is predominantly male dominated?
So yes, that is a challenge that I've actually that is a challenge that I've actually gone through so much, actually, because as I said, I started like doing granola like at home, and I would just do it for free for my friends, for my family. But then that time my business coach would like get like so much. Just like, wait, I've used my time, I've used my effort. These organic seeds that I'm actually sourcing from the organic market, because they're all organic, they're actually quite expensive. Yet I'm just giving out it for free. So she's like, you know what? No, you have actually to start charging. She encouraged me to actually do a lot of research, know how it's packaged, where I can source for even cheaper like raw materials, where I can source, because I wanted to package it sustainably in a creative way, where I can source for like nice glass bottles that are not very, very expensive.
And they're packed very well, but you have some of them here.
I
like the jars. These are mason jars, right?
Yes.
Very nice packaging.
Thank you. So she helped me like source for all that and everything. So I used to struggle a lot, especially when it came to my family. They have run out of the supplies, or my friends have run out of the granola, and they want me to give them for free. And I have to then, struggling still with people pleasing from my past. Like, these are my friends, this is my family. And she's like, no, but she told me, business can be a very expensive hobby. So is this something that you really want to do? She was very strict and told me, no. And then when you price, also you get to know your worth, and you get to know, what, you actually start also having belief in yourself that, I can do it. And also God tells us in the book of Philippians chapter 4 verse 13, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And everything. We just need to rely on God's strength. And who are you not to be like among the powerful business women or the powerful business moguls? You can actually just by starting small. You see, like maybe you have a talent there, maybe you're good at like baking cake, you always do it for free for people's birthdays. You're good at applying for makeup, then you always like do it for free. Then at the end of the day, you're the first one to even the Bible tells us not to complain or grumble. But at the end of the month, you're grumbling, you're complaining because you have no source of income. Yet what you have in your hands, God can actually use it and actually multiply it and everything. And you just need to take a step of faith. Actually post your work on Instagram, your work on social media. You never know how many people are watching. And you don't have to start big. Start with the 3 customers. Then you grow the customers to 20 customers, because that's how like growth happens. Even for my water, we started with like 5 customers, very consistent, build all the way to 15, build all the way to around 50, but being consistently showing up every single day and just letting them. The ones who will not agree with your pricing is okay, because because not everyone is your customer. So God has blessed you. You've used your time, your effort, your money. Therefore, I believe you should actually monetize for your work and everything, and also learn to say no, so that you can also have your own space to actually also be able to go and, you know, bake that thing or make that thing. So it's very possible, and that's how now you start earning an income, which gives you now confidence. And also encourage people, especially maybe if you're maybe a speaker or you've been invited to a conference somewhere, out of a personal experience. That time I did not know that speakers used to get paid. So you also need to have like a rate card for the services that you're offering. Are you offering like business coaching? Are you offering like mentorship? Is it like guest note, like keynote speech that you're offering? You should actually get paid, but also know which events you'll actually like do for pro bono, because me, I'm more kingdom entrepreneur. For church, I don't charge, but if it's in the corporate space, and actually these organizations ask me for my rate card before they invite me, so you should always be prepared, and lack of preparation is what leads to failure. So even if you have not gotten a gig, prepare your rate card and trust God, and those gigs are going to come. You're going to present them the rate card and they'll actually pay you. So it's important to actually monetize for your worth.
Your worth. Oh guys, you have heard it. This is just a place where we drop the mic. Monetize for your worth. If you are a millennial, a Gen Z, or even a baby boomer, you're listening to this video, please monetize your worth. I'd like us to talk about the bit of monetizing your worth, and also balancing with expectations, because I feel like there are very many young people who have certain expectations. Sometimes they go over and beyond. You may find someone who is probably, of course, they know it's important for you to monetize for them to monetize their worth, but you find even the rate card, I mean, it's off the roof. We've worked with a couple of people in different areas, in different sectors. Some influencers also, and you see somebody gives you a rate card for a story, an Instagram story, you're thinking, what? Or just a post, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, just help us understand how do we manage our expectations when it comes to finances, because at the end of it all, we definitely want to grow, and not just grow our wealth. How do we manage, how do you actually walk that journey faithfully of monetizing your worth, and also upholding integrity, especially integrity, where you're not mismanaging people's funds, you're not overpricing, overspending, basically overpricing.
That's a very great question, and something that has also happened to me as I tried also to like build my brand. Of course, I've met up with influencers, and that time I was not actually able to afford this influencer, and I'd actually also just take, like, sometimes you also have to let go of like the person that you can work with, because I explained to them this is how much I make, and even they were able to see their accounts. It's still a growing business, but at the same time I still got influencers who are upcoming. That's why I encourage like startups. Actually start with this influencer who is actually also coming up. You see, you're a startup. Yes, if you're able to afford, I would definitely encourage you to go for it and everything. You see, there are those influencers who have like 2.3 million likes, and yet your business is like, let's say, only 3 years old. To be honest, at that place, you're not able to afford this influencer who has that. But then there are those upcoming influencers who have like 10,000 followers, 20,000 followers, and you've seen that they're consistently and they will actually like grow with you, and their rates will not be way above the roof, and you're able to actually negotiate. And that's why I also tell entrepreneurs, you're always also a salesperson, and you should also learn also the power of just negotiation, which is actually very, very important. And you should be vulnerable all the time. Don't be afraid of just of also stating this is how much I can be able to afford, so that also you don't also end up like cutting the other person and everything. Then when it comes to expectations, organizations. Always do your own, like research is very, very important and everything. Also don't overprice, and also don't also overcharge for your service and everything. And then also know what are you really bringing to the table as well, and all that, because also they'll see your years of experience, especially a company before calling you for like doing the keynote speech. They have already like researched on you. They know that you've like 5 years of experience, or even have like 2 years of experience. Yes, you still get paid. Like for me, I've ever been invited to an event where there's a very successful like radio host, and she's actually getting paid like 150,000 per hour. And for me, because I'm just like starting out, this organization paid me like 10,000 Kenya shillings. And now still, you know what, I still also have like that space to grow to that. Actually, it was such a motivation, because I didn't know, wow, people could actually get paid that much for events, even just showing up, speaking, and then they go home and all that. But if you see like a CV and what she's so just do your own like research. Work with upcoming influencers. They'll still have the same brand influence, and actually growing together is always the best option.
Wow. I love that, the spirit of togetherness. Finding a support system, around you, somebody and people who will help you move to the next level. I'd like us to just journey a little bit back in your experience and your journey through Cooler Waters. You said you started in 2014. Take us through your journey between 2014 and COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say that was also a very painful journey for me, a very trying moment. And for me, I always believe that God has really been preparing this, that and I think I told you that time that we had met. For me, I feel like my story is more of being revealed, and a story of healing and restoration, because for me, to be honest, I've actually gone through the fire, the furnace, and I believe that I'm coming out better with God,
without smelling like smoke.
Without smelling like smoke. Yes, and then there's always beauty for ashes. That's something I've actually just come to learn. And let me explain why I'm saying this. So we started in 2014. 2014 to 2017, let me be honest, we were not making any profit and all. We took 3 years before we could make profit. This is because I'd invested very heavily in my machinery. Manufacturing is a very capital intensive. So I'd invested around, let me just say the figure, I'd invested around like 2 million Kenya shillings. That's a lot of money. You know, that just coming
for
from
a 24-year-old.
Yeah, for a 24-year-old. I was even depending on my parents for a lot of things. So we had heavily invested in the machinery, in the factory, because we wanted everything to be right, in the certification. We did not want to do any illegal business. So and also so when we began, I did not even have an employee, and my sister can tell you she volunteered for almost 1 year as my first employee. We had to learn together on how we package the water and everything, borrow our parents' car to go and like do deliveries before we could get our company vehicle. We started from scratch. Then from my sister volunteering, we met with a friend, asked him, can you become like our first employee? Was our first driver. Luckily it was just by God's grace. He was coming from a water company that had just shut down. So he came with so much knowledge. Just like, no, you guys, you don't park right. This is how you do. He showed us like many so much things. So stayed with the driver for almost a year. Then that's how we've been like building like just the employees and everything. Started from the bottom over there and all, then also building our 10 customers. So that was our journey. 2014 had a lot of struggles, but also a lot of God's grace. Imagine when we were there, that small room, that's when I got so many interviews, because when you check the Cooler Waters story, I thank God, we've been both featured by local and international media houses, and they would just come to that small room. And the only CBC only featured us, CNBC
BBC.
Africa. Yes. yes, they featured us now when we had moved to the bigger room in 2017. So 2017 now came with its own blessings.
Yeah.
We managed to like break even. At least I was
Amen.
able. With the 3 years I wasn't paying myself. I was also like, what I would actually get would be for my staff and the factory. The money is over after the repairs. I've paid my 2 staff. The money is over. I did not have anything. Luckily, I was still like living with my parents and everything. So 2017 came in as a blessing, and also it was also a very painful, very painful year.
Yeah.
Because 2017, yes, we managed to break even, but then that's also the time that that I actually lost someone who was so close to me. That's my dad. You can imagine now your business is just now starting to do well.
Yeah.
I'm starting to pay myself like the first salary ever out of my own sweat and everything. Then he went to the doctor as he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and all. So it started now proceeding. First it was at the pancreas, then it just kept on just proceeding all the way to the lungs. The lungs is the last stage, and he could not breathe. But one thing that I knew about my dad is that he was a godly man. He knew God. He'd even, like the time he was, he could tell us like the visions of heaven, and he just tell us it's such a beautiful place. I can't wait. Imagine instead of us, like, you know, instead of him like feeling bad for himself, like tell us, why do you look forlorn? Why do you look down? I'm going to meet up with my father. Like he had such faith. Like he had such strong faith. And he knew he was going to heaven. Like I don't know, God had shown him in a vision that actually he was going to a better place. And my dad used to like playing the guitar. So tell us, you know, I'm going to play the guitar. I'm going to sing for God. I will have the best food. Sorry, but yes. So that was his journey. Yeah. So 2017 we start off well, but towards the end of 2017, December 6th, that's when he passed on and all that. So it's still something very, very painful. But one thing is that I always like strive, and I told him, like, I wish I was like the half of the woman that, you know, and all that, because he really left a big legacy. And for him just believing in my big dreams, because he's the one who really encouraged me to pursue manufacturing, and he saw, you know, I could do it even if I was young. Yes.
Wow, amazing. I'd like us to just touch a little bit more on loss and grief. And somebody right now who is watching and has probably gone through this, I can imagine you were just 24. By then, I think you were a little bit older, at least 3 years. Then and you had not broken even. Here you are, a young entrepreneur. How did you manage, and throughout all these years, how was it like for you balancing your business as a CEO and balancing loss and grief, and going through loss and grief?
It was very difficult, because also that time I had employees who were actually looking up to me, because the time we were breaking even, we were actually 5 of us from the 2 staff that I had, and still you have to keep the business going, because these employees, they're actually coming from families where they're depending on you for income and everything. But I would also say for me, actually just being in business also kind of, I think, distracted me a little bit from the grief and all that, which I don't know, you know, it kind of just also kept me a little bit busy. Though sometimes I was actually doing it when I was crying, and my production manager would send me, she's like, no, I'm the one in charge, you just go and like rest. So for me, having a very good team, that really
a supportive team,
supported me, and actually the whole time we were grieving, but we used to be surrounded by pastors from CITAM, like through and through. There always used to be overflowing tea and snacks. I can't really like explain that, but for us we had that community that really, like, you know, that was really encouraging. And also the fact that my dad was like a righteous man, so he did not have those cases of, you know, like, you know, there's a stepmom somewhere, which I understand totally, or you have some other brothers, which I also like understand. It happens sometimes. So us guys just know, you know, the way like he had his legacy, all his friends like surrounded us. Actually, they they stayed here for like, they camped here for like almost a month.
Wow.
And people just taking care of us and all. That like really helped me. One thing is that the grief never ends. I
Yeah.
still struggle a lot, especially when it comes to even Father's Day. I don't like it a day.
Yeah.
Like, it just brings out all the emotions,
Memories,
and,
yeah.
and everything. So I would say it's a whole process. But for me, I think just being busy and also being surrounded by a community and a lot of God's covering, because there's then for me also being in the Christian space, just knowing God gives us peace that surpasses all human understanding.
Yeah.
And then also God gave me a verse from Psalms chapter 36 that His love is unfailing and all that. So there's a verse that I reflect on every single day, and just knowing that my dad is in a better place. And there's a pastor who explained to us, and he was like, your dad's death was like more of his healing, because my dad used to say, you know what, I don't want to be a burden to my family. I don't want to get so sick that you guys are carrying me to the toilet. I don't want to be so sick that you guys are just like feeding me. So when he reached like 60 years old, he told God, God, if you're ready to take me home, please take me home. I never want to be a burden. I don't want to leave a huge hospital bill like for my, for the family to like suffer, because he had seen a lot what happens, especially with cancer. So imagine he prayed, and on his 61 birthday, God took him home.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what happened. Yeah.
I can imagine it was quite a difficult process for you, but I must say God's grace is always sufficient, and just like you said, He's the one who carries us through all these experiences. When we go through loss and grief, He's right there. He's ever present. And as we bring this into a close, what would you tell that woman right now who is watching and is looking at getting into the manufacturing industry? And also you can tie that into your vision. Where are we expecting to see Ruth in the next 10 years?
Yes. Thank you so much. These are superb questions and all that. So to tell any lady, manufacturing is possible. Of course, there are a lot of huge constraints, but with God, it's possible. And if I was able to penetrate into that space, and still up to now to just keep on going, then it's possible for each and every person. And that's why I'm also in the process of just writing my second. I'm actually writing my second book that really talks deeper about now the Cooler Waters journey, the challenges and everything, because I want to be there for each and every person who wants to pursue manufacturing. Especially I talk openly so much about the challenges and even how to start and everything. So I'd say one of the things is that especially make sure your regulatory framework is actually in check, so that you don't get in trouble with the government. There's a way that you can also deal with the taxation, because manufacturing is one of the industries that is actually heavily taxed. You'll be paying like 5 different taxes. There's excise duty, there's pay as you earn for your employees, there's VAT, there's income tax. There are a lot of different types of taxation and even excise. So there's a lot of taxation when it comes to manufacturing. So you also need like to get a lot of tax advisory. And one thing that people don't know is that they can actually walk to Kenya Revenue Authority first floor and get actually that tax advisory for free. Instead, because you are starting out and you don't have all this money to hire like an accountant and everything, you can actually just walk to Kenya Revenue Authority first floor and get a lot of help to do with taxation. And even instead of going to the cyber to register your manufacturing company, because the cyber person will tick all the obligations, and sometimes you don't need all those obligations. You start paying taxes for things you don't even understand. It's better you just come to Kenya Revenue Authority first floor. You're educated on the tax matters. They apply for you, they help you even apply for the tax compliance, and you're able to actually start well. So that's just a brief about it, but I'll tell them it's actually possible with God. Go for it, and don't give up. Just develop a strong spirit, and the customers are out there. The customers will come and they will love your products and all that. And for me, like maybe in the next like 10 years, as you've asked me, I really this space where I'm just loving writing so much. So for me, it's just to empower more women,
Yeah.
and also just looking into the social enterprise
Awesome.
space, where I can also help a lot of girls from the rural areas, because
Nice.
I've gone through a lot of challenges growing up there, and knowing the challenges that girls go there, and even things to do with the period shame, period stigma, and also the educational way. I would like to also just maybe have a foundation just later on.
Yeah.
Yes,
Amazing.
by God's
And we'll
grace.
be here
Thank
to
you.
support you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Ruth.
thank
We
you.
really, really appreciate your time here on
Thank
CITAM
you.
Church Online, and just you sharing your experience,
Thank you.
especially as a born again believer in the space of manufacturing. Thank
Thank
you
you
guys for
so
connecting
much.
with us. If you have any question, feel free to go ahead and just ask them on the comment section. You can also DM us. In case somebody would like to get in touch with you, please, your social media platforms.
So you can find me on Instagram, Miss Ruth Mawia, Facebook, Ruth Mwanzia, and also LinkedIn, Ruth Mwanzia. Those are my channels for now.
Thank you, Ruth. Well, you've heard it, guys. Until next time, the Lord bless you.